Hey there, I'm Gabriel Schatzman.
Reid Robinson.
Today is 24 February, so we're a few days overdue. Thank you to our 6 or 7 listeners and our previous corporate sponsor, Raytheon, for your patience as we get over procrastinating.
Boeing as well. Shout out Boeing and Tom Cruise.
And Todd, Mary Todd.
Mary Todd Lincoln.
Yeah. Today we are going to be discussing, probably a little bit less debating, what would you have invented or attempted to invent between 1700 and 1800? It doesn't necessarily need to be it's for the betterment of anyone other than yourself. Maybe you are trying to cure something, or you just want to be the first person with an AR-15. What are your thoughts?
I don't know. I when I heard about this, I thought about it from approaching the perspective of like, how do I make myself as wealthy as possible?
You don't even need to invent.
Yeah.
Like,
you wouldn't.
Just what company still exists that existed. I probably wouldn't go for like East India Trading Company or anything like that.
No,
if it was still 1700s.
Or are we?
I think they were on the decline.
There's also two aspects you can look at this. Like, do you make something for the betterment of society or for the betterment of your wallet, right?
Those don't have to be mutually exclusive.
Yeah.
I think. I mean, this is a problem that you get into now, where you have incredibly wealthy people who aren't bettering society. I don't know. Do you have what do you think? Or would you attempt to invent something that accomplishes both? Or are you pretty satisfied with being wealthy but then dying of smallpox at like 40?
Well, like, imagine you were the first person to invent the steam engine, right? Which was invented in the 1700s. But, like, let's say you got there first, which means that the technology was there, which means theoretically going through a time machine and going back wouldn't be impossible. It wouldn't be impossible to invent it, right?
We're assuming that the first thing invented was the time machine to get back to the 1700s, so I think we're gonna...
Once the time machine invented, it's always been invented, right?
Okay. I thought it just poofs out of existence once you're thrown onto the ground in Pennsylvania, and there's no poppers nearby to
also, is there a way to get back? Like, because of inflation, like the wealth you accumulate, because theoretically you could just bring back with you, like, $100, right?
Right. They're like, holy shit.
And they'd be like, okay, he's got some
You're
money.
just bored of not wanting to... Yeah, you're just frustrated from trying to invent steam, and then you're just like, I have $40.
Could you imagine you're getting your direct deposit pay from the government right now, but in
their money?
Yeah.
You check your account and it's $9, and you're like...
No. You check your account and it's still like the couple thousand or whatever.
Yeah.
And so you're just like a monstrously... I don't know about monstrously wealthy, but you're like very well off.
Right. You could probably purchase a house a month for the $5,000.
Oh,
yeah. That'd be nice. Why? Like, I don't even know if the motivation would be there. They'd be like, would you like some absinthe? And to just like... I was going to say marry a 16-year-old, which probably would have been the thing.
Yeah.
This isn't me suggesting that. That's just what would have been thrust upon me, literally and figuratively. And I think my motivation probably would have gone to nil. They wouldn't have had Adderall back then. So I think I just...
Also, like that's another question is what is like a very high standard of living in 1700s versus today? Because you got to bear in mind, like, we're going back with all of the foreknowledge of like of what a sink is, like what...
That's what I'm inventing first.
Running water around the country, so...
Right, which we still probably don't have access to clean running water and Wi-Fi around the country either.
But it's way closer than it would be in... Right?
You'd hope. Now you're just sad if you don't have Wi-Fi because you know it should exist and have access to it, versus then you don't know exactly what you're missing. So what comes to mind that you think you and a team of people you could probably pay, you and Thomas Edison and
well, that would be easy.
whoever.
We would just have to steal it from
Nikola Tesla.
Yeah.
Fine. You bribe Nikola Tesla and you say, I swear you'll get credit this time. What do you 2 or 3 team up to invent? You, George Washington Carver, whoever you draft.
I think like better electricity would be really good.
The light's not moving fast enough, or like what's the problem?
Well, like more like easily accessible electricity like we have today.
Okay.
So like a generator. Imagine like inventing like the battery or the generator, something that's able to like hold a lot of electricity for a long time, and then like make that accessible to like the common person.
Right. I wonder if electricity, how widely accessible was it? Was it guarded because of lack of resource, or was it because of actual high cost? Like were the margins actually low for electricity, or do you think Thomas Edison was like Scrooge McDuck and just throwing gold coins in the air, being like, yes, I need to artificially gatekeep. Yeah. Do you think electricity was artificially gatekept?
The wealth came with. I don't think Thomas Edison was a great moral person, but I do think I know, right? Hot take.
What? That's okay. Now we know next episode what we're debating over.
Yeah. But I do think as a combination of the factors of lack of resources, right? Because like they did have
like a lack of mercury.
Well, and
like,
this is also the 1800s, right? It was when electricity became
propagated.
widespread. Yeah, when?
I'm not good.
When was Thomas Edison? I don't know, because was that 1700?
Sure.
Right.
Yeah, because he was like an almost signer of the Declaration of Independence.
Right.
Yeah.
But he was a little after, wasn't he?
So 1776.
So we make it
era.
So we make it more accessible sooner.
Okay.
Barring the potential lack of material.
So what do people do with their newfound electricity? They don't have like Lenovo.
Yeah.
They're not playing Smite. They're not.
They're on playing a lot of Smite.
Right.
Recently.
They're on FanDuel. What are they doing?
Well, maybe certain amenities that come with like the expansion of the electrical grid.
Are you listening, Texas?
Come sooner, right?
So you're just saying light bulbs help everyone faster because now you can actually do surgery poorly during the daytime instead of only doing surgery poorly at night.
Yeah,
that's good.
By a candle.
I feel a little worse for.
And also, we're giving it to the U.S. too, so nobody else. The U.S. takes off sooner.
So it
burns brighter.
Okay, so when you said the U.S. is enlightened, you literally meant it has light.
Will be enlightened.
Now, poor Abraham Lincoln has the option of doing it with the lights on.
Oh no,
she's gonna be a constant punching bag. She knows what she did. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like the harpsichord's ass. I've played one before. I'm a big piano proponent. I wonder if modernizing the piano quicker, that doesn't help anyone.
Did you come up with that alliteration on your own?
What?
Piano proponent?
Oh, a proponent of pianistism? No. I did not come up with that alliteration on my own.
The word pianist has always made me very uncomfortable.
It's a giggler.
And the movie was really uncomfortable too.
Well, yeah, they killed a lot of people.
That was a
good Adrian. That was my first introduction to Adrian Brody, who I would have also brought back to the 1800s. I think he's a pretty good actor.
He's a good actor. Although I don't know he would have done too well in the 1800s.
Oh, the nose thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Depending on where.
Sorry, Adrian. Yeah, Reid was telling me earlier he would have brought anti-Semitism back earlier, specifically.
I would have tried to invent anti-Semitism quicker.
The founder. Can't wait to be on that coin.
Yeah.
Yeah, could we have put out like a show coin into like the 1800s and been like, listen, this is what's going to be popular in 2024 and 2025.
Look at my shadow box.
NFTs.
Yeah.
Wait, what do you mean a shadow box?
I thought. At first I thought you were talking about like actual like coins, like.
Oh no, not. Yeah. I meant like, and then if I had tried to say no, like a wallet, then you would have thought like a literal wallet. Yeah. No.
Well, that goes back to like Abraham Lincoln at the water park. Like, would he be happy to see if we actually bring like pocket change with us? They're like, why is George Washington?
Why am I 2D?
Why does George Washington look like this?
Right, and why is it copper and like, not a good coin?
Yeah,
like
why
silver?
Why does it cost 3 cents to make?
Oh, we're doing that.
Yeah.
I suppose it's only fair if I talk about what I'd invent. Probably not podcasting. I don't think that would have done us any good as a nation.
Imagine you had the first ever podcast, though.
We do.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah,
right.
we just waited a really long time.
Yeah.
We just waited like 14 years to release it.
Yeah.
Oh, we have catching up to do. So
invent the Joe Rogan experience.
As not Joe Rogan. I think some spicy takes would have been like, I'm gonna modernize abortion in like the 1700s. I don't know. I think I would.
Yeah, like surgical technology would be good too. But I don't know how to invent that.
Just soap. Yeah, I think we talked about just white. And again, if you sent me back there and they were like, okay, Gabriel, tell us in your great wisdom what you're going to invent for us. Like, when I bought a house, I was like, I'm going to be a person who does woodworking. And then I was too much of a pussy to, like, get too close to the bandsaw. Because I was just like, the risk-reward ratio is not in my favor on this.
The one shop class I had in high school did not prepare me for...
it absolutely... Well, it should have. I just did not pay attention to shop class. Yeah.
No, that stuff is scary. Because you always see people who, like, do that stuff. And it's not everybody, obviously. But they're missing, like, parts of their hands. And I don't like that. It's scary.
Yeah.
I say to somebody who is missing part of their hand.
Part of a finger.
Part of a finger.
Irrelevant to shop class. That was a weightlifting accident. Thank you for using a visual medium on the podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if it would just be like, all right, guys, let me explain soap based on Gabriel's knowledge. Like, I kill a whale, and there's fat, and I think you heat it up, and it kills these invisible thing. Like they'd have hung me.
Yeah, because they when was germ theory was
Germ theory was a thing.
1600s.
Sure, but I don't know how it was widespread enough.
Yeah,
I think I would definitely be a little angsty, and I would, if they believed me and if I had that kind of power to like predict astrological phenomena, I would definitely be
the Columbus route.
Yeah, I would definitely.
On this day,
there's going to be
my God will block out the sun unless you give us food.
No, I would do the opposite and just say I've time traveled. I can tell
You're
you.
Gonna be honest with them.
Yeah, well, in a way, I'm going to objectively say that there is no God and just kind of watch everything fall apart and be like,
we've empirically proved in the future that there is no God.
Yes, I can't explain how in a way that my out would be. It would ruin the timeline to tell you how I did it, but I am allowed to tell you that it's true.
That's such an atheist take, is eliminate Christianity as early as possible.
Yeah, then I wouldn't need everything that was
Then we'd
invented.
already have the first atheist president and I'd win.
Shit, well, no, see, because if we didn't have religion limiting it, then everything invented, that's right, Brian.
Hello, Brian. Everything
invented in 1900 would have been invented in the 1800s.
Without religion.
Without religion holding
Sure.
it back. No. Gabriel recognizes that
the Christian Dark Ages.
Gabriel recognizes that people who were religious gave a significant amount of money to fund objectively scientific endeavors. Hooray, thanks for that. They also just, like, murdered people they disagreed with and got in the way of them and money.
Yeah,
Still
like
happening.
500 years before we're talking about any of this.
Yeah, and that had no lasting implications.
Well, also, like...
And clearly implications right now being February 22nd, 2025. Scientific... I mean, shit, we lived through COVID where religiosity had a negative impact on scientific progress.
Well, like the Islamic Golden Age
Mm-hmm.
between, like, the
times that it happened.
7th century and the 9th century was, like, the most technologically advanced area in the entire world.
Right, but that's also because religion wasn't necessarily holding them back. In a scientific perspective, to my knowledge, they probably weren't, like, keen on sex ed. Maybe that's what I bring back early. Not
nobody
demonstrating.
was keen on sex ed.
Yeah, but they were also like, hey, let's invent calculus.
Yeah, algebra.
Which has not helped me one bit.
Yeah. Well, that's what I would do if I could go back. I would stop the invention of algebra.
I mean, that's going to fuck over...
Advancements
you like
in math.
I was going to say, if you like using computers, you do need things like math.
Grr. No, you don't.
Sure. Oh, wow. That's not even a hot take. That's just ignorant. I know enough computer stuff to know that you need math to build computers. I recognize you can't just, like, put stacks of silicon onto each other and, like, leave it out and hoping lightning strikes it and then a computer pops out. Like,
yeah. I love the bit of we taught rocks to think.
Oh, is what a computer is?
Yeah.
I mean, sure, if you want to be that reductive, I guess.
Yeah, but yeah. It's a bunch of different earth materials.
Right. No, Gabriel certainly does not know how to craft.
Where does plastic come from? Could we invent plastic?
It's dinosaurs. It's like dinosaur bone marrow shit.
Is it really?
I mean, yeah, a portion of it is. I know I'm going to get flack from one of my 5 viewers or listeners who are viewing the podcast through their ears. No, there's like the joke where it's dinosaur toys are made of plastic and the plastic's actually still made of like dead dinosaurs.
So it is real dinosaur.
So it is real dinosaur. That's
invent
like
Legos.
Oh, well, no, because then I would need plastic and like computer assisted design because those are like hyper spec.
Yeah. So we need to invent plastic first. But inventing, that's like a double-edged sword if you invent plastic.
Right, no.
It's like, wow, this really convenient thing is going to be a problem in 200 years.
No, it's fine.
Plastic, people in the future...
Invent the modern landfill.
People in the future will look at our use of plastic like we look at the Romans and their use of lead.
Sure. So what can we make that's proportionately useful, was not invented, but is within our capacity based on the tools that we had and our current 2025... I'm relatively stupid.
I know this is going to be a hot take.
Yeah.
The cotton gin.
You're just inventing it like 20 years earlier because we looked it up and it was invented prior to our timeline. Yeah. You just really want your name stamped on associated with that suffering?
No. You brought up the good point of just patent it.
Okay.
And then Eli Whitney can't make it. And then nobody else can make it, and so it never gets made.
I think we do like the state of California, where it's like, warning, you're not allowed to use this leaf mower, this leaf blower. You just say, please don't associate my technology with slavery, and then everything turns out okay.
Yeah. Or like keep it very, very like tightly held. So like patent it, make it. I mean, somebody is going to, because like the textile industry in the United States was so massive and was so contributive.
It contributed a lot.
It contributed a
we'll
lot
use
to
small
our
word for small brain people.
to our
it
economic
did make
development,
big
early
good.
economic development.
Yes.
Even though, right, like, and we've been over this before. Had they had just paid the slaves as opposed to enslaving them, then they probably would have been more productive.
Yes, typically people are motivated by motivators other than like threats of death, violence, separation from your family. Yes.
And thus the textile industry could have been even larger, right?
Is that your goal when you come back to the 1800s? You're just like, you know what I dislike? Not enough textile building.
Yeah. Well, you know, that's the world was buying from us, right? That was like the first thing where we were like, and by the world I mean Europe. Europe was buying so much raw material from us.
Do you think if we had invented like Tide Pods, they would have not needed to buy as many shirts? Because I'm sure some.
I didn't even think about that. Detergent.
Some.
I have no idea how to make detergent though.
I think it's like with lye, which I also don't know how to make.
Which is what you just did.
Fuck off, LYE, I believe. But at least I know what the key.
Are you calling me a liar? Like
their job.
Yeah.
No, do you think it was like rich British people who spilled like chicky nuggy sauce on their aristocratic shirt, and they're like,
"How do I
quick,
get this off?
find me a gentleman to buy me another shirt," and he just has a pile of unwashed.
I think soap existed. It probably just wasn't like super common.
Those poor ducks.
Because I played Kingdom Come Deliverance 2.
Oh yeah,
which is historically.
Is that what you?
It's very good.
Is that what you would have invented?
Is Kingdom Come
specifically?
I would have invented 15th century
feudalism.
Bohemia.
Yeah, you're like, guys, jot all this down. It's gonna make for a great video game.
I am Charles II. Sorry, Charles IV, Holy Roman Emperor. No, so yeah, but in the game you can like launder your clothes, which I don't think is.
Like when you said that, I thought it meant like you had illicit funds and you needed a way to pretend like you had a valid source of income.
You had stolen clothes that you needed to.
I needed to
sell off to a fence. Which is really funny because, like, in the first game, and this is anecdotal, but like I think
as opposed to the other things we're talking about.
Yeah. I think they did pull from real history, like all of the millers, like people who worked
making
mills, not people with the last name Miller,
right?
Were not the infamous movie Meet the Millers,
also invented in the 1800s.
Yeah, also no. All of the Millers are a part of like a secret underground like illicit material trade organization.
Ooh.
Which is pulled from real history. I think it's pulled from real history. It says in game that it's pulled from real history, which I believe them because they're actually a Czech development studio. So
I think I would have helped develop the first Dungeons and Dragons because that is something I'm capable of. Requires very little material resource. I believe the printing press was widely propagated.
Yeah.
I think I would have had to format it in a way that was pro-religion, so I didn't get, again, burned at the stake or whatnot. But I think you can easily sell it as you guys are righteous paladins propagating your religion and this sort of thing. We're going to ignore a few classes and builds.
What D&D builds or what D&D classes would not be allowed in 18th century America?
I think Druid, if you sell it as paganism, but it's like allowed.
Oh man, I don't know because we did have. There was no freedom of religion.
I think what you do is
it was like freedom for like different Protestant faiths.
I think you start as only lawful good like fighters, clerics, barbarians, and rangers,
and paladins.
I said paladin. That was the second one I said. And then once people see that there's other classes, you get them hooked, right?
Already with
and then you essentially have to have like the Pope and whatever local religious.
All of the homebrew campaigns are like, we go to the church and pray for 2 hours.
Wink. Yeah, I swear I'm going to Temple Mom, or sorry, Temple. Religious.
Well, yeah, could you be a Jewish cleric in?
I'll do the accent later. I promise.
Yeah.
Our stretch goal of 20 listeners per episode is me doing some of it with the Jewish accent. It is offensive, so I apologize to no one.
Yeah, but you can't be offensive to yourself, can you? Well, yes, you definitely can.
Oh, absolutely. I need to scroll down to see how long we're on time. We're good on time.
Yeah, so I'm not sure that I'm not sure that there are a lot of things that like we have like the know-how and we can make massive changes to.
So we're screwed on soap again. I can do D&D. I can make this.
You can do D&D. What can I do?
Roman history.
Do I invent like better history? Like we do history, but like slightly better.
What was bad about it?
Like
we just sucked about it?
I don't know. I think actually by that time history had been pretty.
I mean, we have a good track record of ignoring it. So
well, but I think by that time like actual historians were doing actual history and we because like they knew about the Romans, like they knew about the Roman system of government and everything. That's not like new. It's like scholars had already done their thing. I don't know what I could have done.
I think a good bit would have been like, I'm going to invent improv. Just like the concept of getting on a stage and riffing for like half an hour of like, I'm going to be the first yes-ander. Yeah. No more of this Shakespeare shit. We're just going to get on there and have a really good time.
Yeah.
I think day drinking probably existed. You're pretty good at that.
Well, they would.
Zin, you make the first pouched.
Nicotine.
Can you make the first pouched tobacco. Nicotine?
I actually.
You could do that.
Oh, I'd need like a crack team of.
Is that what they're called? A crack team?
No, I would need people who knew how to like infuse salt. Like if you could infuse salt.
Do I have a job for you?
I would be like squeeze these tobacco leaves very hard until juice comes out of them, and then take that juice, mix it with a vegetable glycerin. I think.
Sure.
Vegetable glycerol.
That's vegetable glycerol, my favorite ingredient.
And then.
How do you flavor it? What do I flavor it with?
Yeah, exactly. It would be unflavored. It would be tobacco flavored, which is.
Oh no.
Yeah, but like, listen, this would
would
stop the invention of cigarettes.
You get vanilla or cinnamon or mint. Mint's easy, right?
Oh, yeah, you probably do mint.
And you just use like a sheep or a pig or goat skin bladder.
Yeah. And
you just pop that shit in your mouth. I don't partake in the Zinfandel.
Yeah,
I'm not a Zinfandel.
You're not a Zinfandel?
Yeah.
No.
I think pouched tobacco is a pretty good call.
Yeah, or just because they would use tobacco, like they would already chew tobacco, so it wouldn't be like crazy new.
There's no shot we had pot back in like 1760.
Because it comes from like very specific parts of the world, right?
Well, it would have had to have been imported here, much like we illegally imported the first silk.
I thought you were going to say person.
No, we were not the first to do that at all.
Yeah. But it was illegal. Well, was it illegal?
Yeah, probably. Because I believe the Egyptians clearly did it, and this is not a Jew take. This is like, no, the Africans were just first to do most things. This isn't like a judgment or me prescribing ethics on like a 400 or like a 4000 BC culture. They knew it was bad.
Yeah.
They were just like, why pay people when do work, no pay?
Well, I think it was more so like, these people are not Egyptian. Let's utilize them for something other than standing around complaining about everything.
Eek. Even though they weren't Egyptian, like in Egypt, they're like, what if we went over here and just brought not people here? Yeah, it's a bummer.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Prevent the invention of slavery. I mean, that would be so hard because it's like everywhere in the world.
Still, no kidding.
A lot of places.
You go to Alaska, there's just like a penguin in shackles.
Yeah.
Wait,
what would be if you could be born anywhere?
Yeah.
But you had a chance of being born somewhere that is equally as bad as wherever you want to be born is
What
good.
are the odds? What are we talking?
Yeah. So it's like 50-50. Like you can either pick like you can either pick
it's like, I have to. It's not.
Yeah, you can either pick like Vienna, Austria, but then you could get stuck in like Saharan Africa.
Yikes!
It's like which one do you pick?
So like, what's my
or like which area do you pick where it's like this is both equally good and bad, so I have the highest chances of getting something very like.
Do we measure this in percents? Like, do I vote for a 7 out of 10, and then my chance is getting a 3 out of 10?
Yeah.
Or I just stick with 5.
If you if you go for a 10, you could get a 1.
Oh.
You have like equal chances of getting
10.
something. Yeah, you can't go for a 10. I think you go for like
a 6.
I think you go for a 6.
Yeah.
And then you get a 4 maybe.
And then you're like,
Which is like a 4 is like.
Not as far from
what would be a 4?
What time period today?
Yeah. A 4 would be like Eastern Europe.
Yeah, no, I would have said like Mexico City. As like a not middle class person.
Yeah, like Brazilian, but not like nice Brazil, like not like
Brazil.
Yeah.
Sorry, Brazil.
The one Brazilian people.
I think
the one Brazilian. How many is that?
I think a 4 is like the rural part of California that I've visited before, where it's just the most neutral boonies.
And then a 6 would be like
a nicer
Florida.
part of California,
like northern Florida. It'd be like a 6,
like Tallahassee.
Yeah.
Or Tampa.
Yeah. I think
That's
Tampa
pretty
would be a
neutral.
6.
Damn, I don't want either of those. Shit. What do you think, commenters? Let's have a moment of reflection.
I was thinking go for like maybe like a 7, 7.5, and then just take the odds, because then you could get like a 2.5,
or you could get like
or a 3.
What's a 2.5?
A 2.5 would be like
Botswana.
it would be like coastal Africa, I think.
Okay, so are you like a Somali pirate?
Yeah.
Yikes.
Yarg. Or
that's what they say.
Yeah, that's what they say in Somalia. That's what all the Somali pirates
say.
say.
I didn't know you knew Somali.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And then like a 7.5 would be like where we live now.
Yeah. What do you think's a 1? And what's your 10?
What's a 1? A 1 is like North Korea.
Oh, like poor in North Korea?
Yeah.
Or you're in like Kursk?
Like poor North Korea. 1.5 is like nice North Korea. So
no.
like just Pyongyang.
That's probably like that's honestly probably like a 4.
No.
Yeah.
A 4?
Well, keep in mind, they probably think it's like a 10.
That's true. They don't know any better.
Right. So that's fine. We can cave analogy this.
Yeah. The cave. Have you been reading a lot of Plato? Is that what that was?
No, I told you to watch Chaos.
Oh, right.
And they have a bar called The Cave.
I see, okay.
And they have a guy with an eye patch who's the Cyclops.
Okay, yeah.
I'm telling you, you have to watch it.
I have to watch it, yeah.
You have to.
Yeah. Not sponsored by Chaos.
Not sponsored. Yeah, they dropped out after they saw Lockheed and Raytheon were
getting on it.
Giving us nickels.
Is that Plato, the cave? That's Plato's analogy.
Or yeah.
No, not soccer. It might have been in a Socratic play
thesis or something.
The seminar.
Right. No.
Socratic seminar.
Would you rather think everything's a 10? Like it doesn't get better than this because you must be flying high.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, that's the problem with going back
not to
in
steal
time
from our
to
next
1800s
episode.
America.
Damn, that would have been a good one, right?
Everything is
as good as it could be if you're a.
Well, yeah, but like if you know better, everything is way worse. Imagine not having the internet.
No. Well, I did. I'm 35, so I can. Yeah, well, but my bar was lower because I was like 11.
I think dial-up was around when I was being born, but
they invented it specifically while you were coming out. All right, turn it on.
Yeah. Yeah. No, but I don't know. I feel like not knowing. I'd rather not know about modern amenities, but then you can't go back and invent modern amenities.
Well, no, people invent things they don't know about all the time. There's just a guy who's like, this would be sick.
Well, yeah, but like you can't go back with like the foreknowledge because then you just go back and you're like an average person.
I mean, I sure as shit wouldn't know what to do.
Yeah.
All right, so there's these waves, right? And there's a box, and you have to call Verizon like 3 or 4 times to set it up because they're not sure if it's Fios or 5G. Listen, I got ahead of myself.
And you need a smartphone. Okay, so a phone is
so radio waves are so telephony is.
Yeah. So a signal is.
Right, cables are.
Yeah.
No, because they had cables from like Morse code telegraph.
Well,
telegrams.
I think telegrams were later.
No.
Than 1700s. I think those were 1800s.
No.
Yeah, I think so. Brian just took a shit and he's staring at me.
Yeah, that's what I would invent. The automatic litter box has been a game changer. Yeah. Please invest if you're listening to that.
Yeah, you have a lot of MREs in there.
I do. We took them from work.
We did take them from work.
I actually don't know how long this has been going because
Can you not scroll down?
It's being weird. I think this is probably a decent place to cut it because now, he's getting close. My assistant, I'm going to riff as my assistant steals my mouse, and this is just what the worst podcast looks like as he narrates. See? It's weird. You can't. It looks like it says something. God, I hope we're recording. How about, you know what? I think we're just going to call it on this one. Maybe next episode we riff on whether it's better to live in ignorance over what could have been. Like, or do you know? Are you like you managed to get through the firewall in North Korea, and then you're just like, oh fuck, there's Taco Bell. That's a thing. I can just have a taco, and then like your life's in shambles. Or do you live with?
Because that's the amenity, right? Is Mexican food that makes you shit? Is the amenity?
Well, when all you've had is like.
Oh yeah, like rice gruel.
Right, they let you think about kimchi twice a year if you've been a good boy or girl. Yeah. So yeah, I think that's gonna cover it for until next time. Maybe. All right.
I think this was another very
unproductive episode of Uncentered. I think we were, you know what? I think it's going to hurt our listens. I think we might drop from 7 to 6. I think we were relatively centered on this one.
Yeah. I think we were pretty much in agreement the whole time.
I think I would have loved to invent the nuke, so I would have armed George Washington. Yeah. I would have armed the North, so they could have nuked the South instead of paying them reparations. And I think
if you can figure out how to invent the nuke,
please write to us and the FBI, since they're no longer a thing. Make sure you CC Kash Patel, and we'll figure it out together.
We'll figure it out.
All right, well,
one big group.
Thanks for your time. Thank you, Lockheed and Raytheon, and thank you to our single listener.
Tom
Have
Cruise,
a good one.
Mary Todd.
Tom Cruise, Mary Todd. Bye.